So sorry, presentation will be in English because my Polish is still in progress every day. So our presentation was prepared by me and Szymon. Szymon, unfortunately, feeling not well, so he's joining online. And short brief. We will have part one is like short intro. What is UX? What is UI exactly? What is the different? Part two, it will be our main part when we will go through general rules and tips that which we can use every day while building applications, web and mobile. Part three will be presented by Szymon. It will be current and future UX trends, and also most popular guidelines. And part four, the most interesting, it will be game with very good reports. And so I hope you will be active. And let's start with the intro. So UX and UI, who can maybe help me with what exactly UX means? User experience, exactly. So user experience, it's experience. First point. So user experience, it's experience that the user gets while interacting with the product, with the application. This experience can be bad or good, and our job, designers and developers, to make it experience great and that will make user enjoy the interacting with the product. So now who will help me with explanation what is the UI?
User interface.
Yes. User interface. And here everything more clear, user interface. So here we're working on the style, colors, typography, and how it looks. So in simple words, in other words, UX, it's why its button is here, and UI, how its button will look, which shape and color it will have. So how do you think, what is most important, UX or UI?
Both.
Both, yes, it's true. But the little bit most? UX. So I will now show you my favorite picture, what I think very good displayed the difference in the value. Okay, so this one. Have you ever seen this kind of roads made by people? They are everywhere, yeah? So it's, for me, it's very clear showing user experience and the UI. Somebody really spent time and try to build a very so symmetric and clean environment. But user goal is there and my house is there. So people, they trying to get things done easier, faster, and nowadays you know that our tempo of life so fast, and people they are lazy, and they like not even lazy, they just so used to get things faster. So for example, he will not if we talk about application, to order pizza in 10 steps, nobody will like. We want to make it in 2 clicks. That's why we are using saved payment method, or maybe repeat my previous order. Nobody like to huge forms. It's like make user feel stressed. So that's why we're trying to help. We're using after field and kind of features that can help user make it less stressful way. So let's go. Yeah, here is like explanation. His goal and why he wrote this here. It's other nice picture displaying in UI UX difference. So of course it's the choice, but most people will say the first bottle of ketchup look more clean and maybe shape it's more beautiful. But user experience will be worst in first option. So we should think about both parts, but if car, for example, car is beautiful and amazing, but it's not work and I can't drive, so here I think user experience a little bit more important. So this is like short different, and I also want to mention what we are doing in every stage. On UX stage, it's kind of research. Here we are working with knowing our user, brand's goal, brand's need, user needs. Here we're building wireframes, prototypes, scenarios, working with many kind of information, analyzing competitors. And then UI stage, as I mentioned before, it's visual design, colors, graphics, typography, and etc. So now we are moving to our next part, part 2. And here we will go through general rules of good UX, UI design to follow on every project. I hope it will be useful, and be careful because after will be a short test and will be something from this part. So first, paddings, white spaces. Why it's important? Who can think or guess? Why important all these markings, paddings, and white spaces on the applications, on the interface?
To get attention on the right things.
Yes, to help user to pay attention what is important, and also exactly these margins, paddings, and white spaces make the interface looks clean and organized. So here we go. For example, first example, kind of messy, right? And second, much better. Difference is just margins between sections. Here also. Also about text bodies and headers. We have here bad example and good example. Difference is like text not aligned on the left. So next, we are moving to word spacing. It's also important. It's small things what can make interface not understandable and bring confusion. And it's real photos, yeah. So they're everywhere. Here we go. Which one, in your opinion, the perfect one from these three?
Are there points for that?
Not yet. not start game yet. It is just we can guess, you know.
Bottom one?
Yes, bottom one. Because on first one, too tight. Second one, too open. And bottom one, the perfect line height. Here also, line height 20 and 24 is small different. But you see how much more readable I have problem with the right one. So the green one with check marks. Also, good and bad example. Also about word spacing. You see it by yourself. Here is the best example how we can play with word spacing. Some header, for example, this small header 2 with your eyes open. Word spacing especially a little bit bigger. And in general, we can and we even should make little bit bigger word spacing in the headers. It's always help. But on the text body, we go with general one. It's like rules that almost on all interfaces will work. Okay, font styles. Very important topic also, because font styles can bring mess, and on the other hand, it can help to make interface cleaner. So here is a good and bad example: headers, second headers and text body, and here is just everything together. Yeah. So what is like classic scenarios? Here it's example that we have for our client. Bruno when we start work with the project. So classic scenarios is to have H1, header 1, a big header, let's say. Header 2 is like second header, text body, and subtext. So this is classic scenarios. What about fonts? We can use maximum 2 types of fonts on the application, and in many cases fonts is the same, just one. Just we playing with bold, semi-bold, or something like this. But I prefer use 2 fonts for headers and for text body. I think it's look more interesting. So H1, H2, text body, and additional text. Here we also see bad and good example. Yeah, on the right side, the title, subtitle, organized. We see for like which one I need to pay attention for. Yeah, and the left kind of messy. Here one more example how everything can be mixed. Also header, text body, additional header is blue, but here even some kind of italic style, maybe for kind of, I don't know, people's, it can be for review or something like this, for links. Okay, here, we're trying to avoid to use all caps. It can be just maybe on the header, sometimes, in most cases, in H2, we can use caps. It can look nice. But for text body, never, ever. Upper and lower case. Also, we pay attention for the contrast. It's very important. For example, you can see high contrast and low contrast. Contrast. We should avoid so low, because sometimes designers, they start to play with these light grays, and they forgetting that some people, around 10% of people, they are not have at all good eye, and for them it will be not readable at all. So we should pay attention for this. Sometimes it's good to use black and white tests, and it's really helping to see how they will see interface, it will be readable or not. Also example, on the left side, everything is messy. And why? Because here it's like big and italic and bold and normal text, but it's kind of old style advertisement. You can, if you can remember, we have many advertisements like this. So this is bad example. Keep it simple. Here also we have example when on the right side everything organized clean. Yeah, we have text body, it's one size, one color. We have headers, one size, one color. And on the left side, we have blue, gray, bold, like some kind of light gray, also about picture. So arrow back arrow, I don't know for which reason, kind of big. And you see how the same interface can change with these rules. Here also very nice example how the same information with the same icons can look messy if we are if designer will start to play with the fonts. In general, clients sometimes they ask and play with the fonts. So we are not playing, better not play. Okay, we move into the colors. Of course, colors is very important. So here, everything more difficult, but we still can follow some rules, general rules that help us to understand how we can mix the colors. So have you seen this color circle? I think yes, before. We have some kind of rules how we can use it. For example, we can choose 2 opposite colors. They always will be good to each other, always. So opposite color is always okay. We have rectangle, we have similar colors, we have triangle, square, and we have also last one when will be two colors close to each other and one opposite. In most cases, it will be good. So here, for example, how to use similar colors for interface. Here it's two similar, one opposite, triangle. But classic scenarios for the interface is to use one accent color. It can be for buttons, call to actions, will be one secondary, will be white, and kind of gray. This is classic scenarios. Here also example that we create also for Bruno, I think, and in the end he chose red one, number 3, with red accent colors. We use it for buttons, with gray support colors and white spaces. Okay, so here example how it can work on interface. This example I like the most because here it's everything is understandable and clean. Here we have 4 colors. We have yellow, green, dark blue, and white space. And we are just mixing these colors and not using other ones. Okay, here it's also example about gray color. With gray color, we should be so careful because gray color in most cases looks like inactive. So we should be careful with gray, and if we're using maybe super light one and just like secondary color, not like primary, never. Here it's example also. Here it's one primary color, blue, but it's like too much. It's everywhere. This blue on the buttons and on the logo. It's like also too much. Better have one supportive gray, and it's look much better. Okay, also important question for who we are creating the products. Who is our user? For example, one of the part of UX part is creating user personas. So we are trying to know who will be our user, who will be our audience. And why it's important? Because interface will look different, right? So for example, if we are making application for millennials, teenagers, and kind of young people, yeah? They are open for this kind of fancy, stylish, animated interface. They are open and they will like it. But if we are working with some business products, with some conservative country, as for example Germany, they are so careful with any additional line, additional changes. So we should follow more conservative style. Here, for example, we see Chinese interfaces, and they are really different from other world. They are crazy about red color. It's hard to see application in China without red because it have like so big meaning for them. Yeah. So if one day we will be creating an application for Chinese market, we also need to be we need to understand the trends, what is there, because they are not the same. For example, if our application 90% for female, we can also use some kind of colors, shapes that female will like more. Men will not be visiting this page, so here we are not care about them so much. But here is for men. So here is opposite. If our audience will be 95% of male, then we can pay attention for them. Most women will not like these interfaces, but I think for men, I don't know if he will tell me, but it's work good. And also mixed audience. If our audience mixed, there is some kind of guides that we can use to make it looks good for male and female. Okay, hierarchy. Also very important because it's showing importance and showing things that users should pay attention first and second. So here, for example, we see a kind of page when you just want to kill yourself, yeah, because everything just, you will not understand what's going on. You just wish to close it, yeah. But it's real screen. And here, good example. Everything is clear. Everything is, I understand where is menu. I pay attention for beautiful illustration. I see call to action buttons, try it for free, and I can watch the video. This is good example. This is so bad. Here, also simple example. We have the same profile photos or I don't know, user photos. So if they are the same, meaning is the same, they should be the same size, the same shape. So we are not playing with the shape for no reason. We can play with the shape and size only if one thing is more important than other. Okay. Also, example of kind of bad hierarchy and good. You can see headers, you can see sizes, yeah. Buttons. Buttons also very important. Why? Because they are also showing, they have this call to action meaning. So if all buttons will be the same, user will be confused. So classic scenarios to have primary and secondary button, and that's all. So here we have example how it can be good. One button can be primary, that action that we expect user to do first, and secondary kind of for cancel, go back, I don't know, decline. So we are not using the same button next to each other. Here also, login and cancel. Here also you can see why it's bad here, because all this round shape is the same size, and you not understand for what you, which element should you pay attention first. But on the left side, you see this basket, you see add to favorites, and you can choose the color. So size is helping you to understand the interface better. Here, it's exactly what I'm talking about before. All colors the same. All buttons are the same. And user confused, he will spend time to understand, okay, login, sign up, forgot password. But on the right example, we see primary action login me, we see sign up and forgot password. We can just put without any button, like link. Is the perfect example. So here, also, it's mostly for the mobile. We should check if it's clickable. We should check on our phone if your finger can really tap on the elements. For example, here it will be difficult, especially for women if she will have nails, for example, long nails. We should also not forget about here. Good example for belonging. The buttons must clearly for the user belong to a specific section. So I need to understand what this button belongs for. And on the left example, we see button, I don't see, read all reviews, but it's not understandable. It's for up section or for bottom section. Here we organize it in one box like a gray background and looks completely changed. Vector and bitmap. This is my favorite topic because it's really important. It's very important to use vectors on the website. Maybe you will not see the different, but if you will show user two interface and on one will be all raster and on one will be vector, he will for sure tell you that this is better. Maybe he will not explain why, but it's really working like that. We are using vectors and good quality images. You see the difference is big. This especially makes screens because every day when I try to order food, it's like kind of model appear. They always like, I'm feeling like I need to maybe send them a message to use the vector because you already have a vector on your logo. Why here this raster? So you see the difference here. Okay, we are going to tips for form design. Of course, we are using in application so many forms, and some of them really huge. And it's already hard to user to fill this huge form, already stressed. So let's not bring additional one. Let's try to help him to organize it. If it's huge form, let's organize it in 3 parts, like here, personal info, account info, contact information. It's the same form, but a little bit better feeling, less stress. Here is some advice. For example, to not use so many drop downs. For example, I need to pick my date of birth. The best way to give to user option to type it or choose from calendar, then open first day, after months, scroll it, after year, scroll it. Same with, what is here, time selection. Okay, let's go to the, okay, here you see the problem. Somebody can help me. Spacing, yeah, we're giving spacing between fields. It's also helping to read the interface better and faster. Here, when we using credit card numbers or kind of other huge numbers, it's better to help user again and separate it into 4 symbols parts than use this huge one. Here we have also, I'm sure all of you know this, but I want to repeat because sometimes I still see it in applications. Check marks, it's for multiple choice, and radio buttons for single choice. So radio buttons, you can just pick something one. With check mark, I can pick all of them. It's very important. Here, it's just example how more advisable to display error. Yeah, not just error, but to show. Okay, here, here. Okay, here point is about size of the field. We're trying to, with short information inside, make field also shorter. It's always look more organized. Here, drop down. For double choice, we are not using drop down because it's like double stress for the users. We can use a radio button. In drop down, we can hide from 3, 4, but not 2, light or dark. It's kind of not logical. Using icons in the same style, it's very important. It's also make interface look cleaner and more organized, and unfortunately, these rules always hard to see complete, but here we go. So we can choose the pack and the style and use exactly the same icon. If it's green and outlined, then we use it. If it's a color one and like realistic, then we use it everywhere. So here, example, like we cannot do and like we should do. If all our icons black and outlined, here cannot just appear this yellow realistic star. Also, if all our icons outline, cannot just appear solid one. And also important to keep the line same size also. Here also example, button good. Icons we are not mixing with the text. Much better to keep it separate and then header and text body. So you see how it's can broke interface. Presentation of the information. It's also important because it's helped to read interface more easily, and it's more aesthetic and visually user will enjoy with this interface more. So if we have, for example, here is the same information, standard pro and advanced plans. We can present it just like the text with radio buttons, or we can make a kind of a nice card like this. Second version much better, yeah. Here is the same. So if we have somewhere kind of short info like this, we can convert it into nice boxes. For menu, it's always cool to use the icons on the beginning. It's so much help to read interface faster because user first read the icon and then text. If we have both, it's much helpful. Okay, here also one example how we can convert information in a more interesting way. Here also, you see the first form, it's not bad. Everything like organized, everything aligned. But the second one look much modern, and view details. It's like turned to button call to action. Price is big. We pay attention to the price. To additional information, we pay less attention. So this is the perfect example. Here also one more example. And even for error page, we can still try to make more interesting, and it's making our interface look unique. So not just service unavailable, but something more. Avoiding heavy design. You know that now it's trend for clean white interfaces. So we trying to avoid all these things that can make interface heavy. The same button, but shadow in one case it's kind of black or dark gray, in other case it will be super light gray, and it's look much better. Here the same. Here the same. We have like dark shadow and stroke outline. Here also, we're trying to avoid this kind of additional lines which we're using for noticing. It's already separate. We already see the difference. We already see like this list of some information. So much better to make it like in right version. Maybe when mouse hover on, or when we can tap, it can change color, but not make design especially heavy. Here also. Same icon, but black icon in general looks so heavy. So if we want to use dark one, it can be gray, but not black one. Here also about buttons. Much better to use this version when delete will be just link. Okay, and then we move to the part 3, which will be presented by Szymon, and you will know about current.
Szymon or Simon?
Szymon. Wait, I will make mute.
Okay, so part number 3, current and future UX trends. So the first trend is 3D models. As you can see on the attached images, it looks like plasticine. So these illustrations often come to life with a complex motion designs. As you can see, this comes to life with the complex motion design. As you can see, this is super alive and quick, so it picks up user attention to the screen. So Neomorphism, actually this is the controversial one, because on the one side we've got the majority of designers love it because it looks fresh, trendy, but on the other side we've got users who don't love it so much. It is a a simulation of physical buttons, as you can see on the right screen. You can nearly touch it because of the upper and bottom shadows. The upper one is brighter and the bottom one is darker. So here you have a comparison of 3 styles. The first one is Skeuomorphism, which was popularized by Apple when Steve Jobs in 2007 introduced the iPhone. The first applications looked like this. These applications are trying to replicate, to mimic the real world items, for example, compass or a microphone or the calculator. So this is the Skeuomorphism, which is it's like a replication of the real objects. Then a flat design came in, which was popularized by Google in Android, but also by Microsoft in Windows Phone. And Neomorphism is the trend I am speaking about now. And as you can see from this comparison, the Neomorphism is actually a mix of the Skeuomorphism and a flat design. But for today requirements, it is safely to use flat design because the users are used to it and it's not so experimental. Here's another example of the Neomorphism. As you can see, these buttons looks like they want to even pop up from the screen. Again, another trend which is already happening right now is emotion. Thanks to the technological advancement we've got, we don't have to use heavy video files, because we can animate SVG files through the CSS, I guess. As you can see, we've got cool vectorish animation. Here you go. This is also an example of how cool it is to have SVG-based animations on the website. It gives a life to the website. So depending on where you are on the website, it starts once you see it for the first time. Okay, here you go. And the glassmorphism, this is also a trend which is alive. I think that the Mac OS users can approve this message, because once you can see on the next screen, you can see this is a control center. So this glassmorphism is just a bluish background, so it replicates the glass. Another trend is to get rid of the buttons. For example, Apple get rid of the home button in the newest iPhone because they believe that using gestures and the voice is more efficient way to control the device. Google also promotes the voice user interface via applications like Google Translate, where you can, even if you will find yourself in situations when you are in the foreign country and you don't know the language, you can just click on the talk mode, I think, or discussion doc. So in real time, you can speak in your own language and it gets translated and played by the language in the country you're in. Tesla is also popularizing this idea of controlling applications through the voice. So while you are driving, you can control the car by your voice. Let me show you few few voice commands, which, for example, you can open trunk by your voice, you can lock the doors, you can adjust mirrors. So basically, you can just talk to the car. The next thing I want to talk about a little bit is design systems. Design system, it's a kind of speed hack for designers and for developers. It's a set of components or already built that you can use. So you don't have to create every button, every drop down from zero every time you have a new application to produce. So for example, this is a Apple design system, which is very useful for the applications that don't need a fancy design. This one is material designed by Google, and design, maybe some of you are familiar with that, and the carbon designed by IBM.
Thank you all for presentation, for attending. And now time for fun.